The jungle was thick and unforgiving. Vines snagged at my clothes, sweat stinging my eyes. My mission: find the lost temple of Angkor Wat. Locals called it the Dragon's Maw. They said it was cursed. I scoffed at superstition, but a shiver ran down my spine as I pushed through the final foliage. There it was, a towering structure of moss-covered stone swallowed by the jungle. The entrance was a gaping maw framed by crumbling fangs of stone. Taking a deep breath, I stepped inside. The air was instantly cooler, heavy with the scent of damp earth and something ancient, unknowable. This was it. 100 hours. Could I survive the Dragon's Maw? The light from outside vanished as I ventured deeper. My headlamp cut through the gloom, revealing walls covered in intricate carvings. They seemed to writhe in the shifting light, telling stories of forgotten gods and ancient rituals. The silence was absolute, broken only by the sound of my own breathing and the drip, drip, drip of water echoing through the endless corridors. I pushed onward, my senses on high alert. The air was thick with humidity, each breath heavy in my lungs. The silence was starting to get to me. It was a living presence, pressing in from all sides. I imagined whispers at the edge of my hearing, shadows moving just beyond the reach of my light. I had to stay focused. My first priority was finding a source of water. Dehydration would be my biggest enemy in this oppressive heat. I checked my supplies: compass, map, knife, first aid kit, a few energy bars. Not much, but it would have to do. The Dragon's Maw was testing me already, pushing me to my limits before I even began. The floor was uneven beneath my feet, littered with debris. I imagined the people who had walked here centuries ago, their footsteps echoing just like mine. What had they been like, these people who built this incredible place? What secrets did these walls hold? I was determined to find out. Hours turned into days. The air grew thick and heavy, each breath a struggle. The thirst was the worst. My tongue felt like sandpaper, my throat raw. I searched desperately for any sign of water, following the path of least resistance, hoping it would lead me to a spring or underground stream. The silence was broken only by the fluttering of bats, their leathery wings brushing against the darkness. I tried to ignore the growing fear in the pit of my stomach. Panic wouldn't help. I had to stay calm, stay focused. Where there's a temple, there's water. I just had to find it. Just when I thought I couldn't go on any longer, I heard it, a faint trickling sound like a whisper in the darkness. I followed the sound, my heart pounding in my chest. And there it was, a small spring, bubbling up from the earth. I had never tasted anything so sweet. With my thirst quenched, I felt a surge of renewed energy. I spent the next few days exploring the temple, marveling at its grandeur. The carvings on the walls seemed to come alive in the flickering light of my torch, revealing scenes of battles, sacrifices, and everyday life. It was like stepping back in time. I discovered hidden chambers filled with ancient artifacts, pottery, weapons, even a few skeletons, their bones brittle with age. They were a stark reminder of the temple's long history and the countless souls who had walked its corridors before me. I treated each artifact with the utmost respect, careful not to disturb the peace of the dead. The silence wasn't as oppressive now. It was filled with the whispers of the past, the echoes of lives lived and lost. I felt a strange connection to this place, a sense of belonging I couldn't explain. It was as if the temple itself was welcoming me, sharing its secrets with me. Section 5. Light in the Darkness. One day I stumbled upon a large chamber, its ceiling open to the sky. Sunlight streamed through the opening, illuminating the chamber in a golden glow. Dust motes danced in the light beams, creating an ethereal atmosphere. In the center of the chamber stood a massive stone altar, its surface covered in intricate carvings. I felt a strange energy emanating from the altar, a palpable hum that vibrated through the air. It was as if the very heart of the temple beat within this chamber. I approached cautiously, drawn to its power. As I reached out to touch the cold stone, I felt a surge of energy course through my body. It was a feeling of pure exhilaration, of being connected to something ancient and powerful. I realized then that this temple wasn't a place of death and decay, but a place of life and renewal. It was a place where the veil between worlds was thin, where the past and present intertwined. Section 6. The Guardian's challenge. My moment of peace was shattered by a low growl. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end. Something was in the chamber with me. Something big. I whipped around, my heart pounding in my chest. There, emerging from the shadows, was a massive python. Its scales glinted in the sunlight, its eyes cold and calculating. It was the largest snake I had ever seen, easily twice my size. This was the guardian of the temple, the embodiment of the dragon's maw. I knew I had to stay calm. Panicking would only provoke it. Slowly I backed away, never taking my eyes off the creature. It followed my every move, its tongue flicking in and out, tasting the air. I could feel its power, its raw primal energy. This was a battle I couldn't win. I had to find another way out. Section 7. Ancient Knowledge. I retreated from the chamber, the python's growl echoing behind me. I needed a plan, a way to escape the dragon's maw without becoming the guardian's next meal. I remembered the carvings on the walls, the stories they told of trials and tribulations. Perhaps they held the key to my escape. I spent the next few hours studying the carvings, searching for any clue, any hint that could help me. Finally, I found it, a series of symbols carved above a doorway depicting a path through the temple, a labyrinth of corridors and chambers. This was it, my way out. I had to trust the knowledge of the ancients, to follow the path they had laid out for me. It was a gamble, but it was my only chance. With a deep breath and a prayer, I stepped through the doorway and into the unknown. Section 8. Escape from the tomb. The path was treacherous, filled with dead ends and hidden passages. I had to rely on my instincts, my wits, and the faintest glimmer of light filtering through cracks in the ceiling. I could hear the python's growl echoing behind me, urging me onward. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I saw it, a faint glimmer of light ahead. I stumbled towards it, my heart pounding in my chest. As I got closer, the light grew brighter, revealing the way out. I'd escaped the dragon's maw. I emerged from the temple, blinking in the sunlight. The jungle air never smelled so sweet. I'd faced my fears, tested my limits, and emerged victorious. I'd survived 100 hours in the dragon's maw. Section 9. Lessons from the Stone. As I made my way back to civilization, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had left a part of myself behind in that ancient temple. The dragon's maw had tested me, pushed me to my limits, but it had also taught me valuable lessons about myself, about resilience and the power of the human spirit. I had stared death in the face and emerged stronger, more alive than ever before. I had learned to respect the power of nature, the wisdom of the ancients, and the importance of never giving up no matter how dire the situation. The experience had changed me, transformed me. I was no longer the same man who had entered the jungle all those days ago. The dragon's maw may have been a place of darkness and danger, but it had also been a place of profound beauty and unexpected discovery. It had been a journey into the heart of the unknown, a test of my will and a testament to the enduring spirit of adventure, and I wouldn't have traded it for the world.